Gairv Mahagud Cathaoirleach. Cathaoirleach, let me thank the deputies for tabling this motion today. The contributions that deputies have brought to the topic is testament to how critically important the new National Maternity Hospital is. When I spoke on the topic of maternity services recently, I noted how the attention and investment in those services is commensurate with the importance that we, as a society, place on women and babies. I reaffirm the commitment of this government to delivering better health outcomes for the women of Ireland, as well as our determination to ensure that the success achieved so far in women's health is built on for generations of Irish women and girls into the future. What we are talking about here today is a huge part of that ongoing work. It is worth remembering, Cathaoirleach, that the new National Maternity Hospital will be the single greatest investment to date in maternity and women's healthcare in the history of the state. It will provide state-of-the-art facilities for the provision of modern healthcare for generations of women and families to come. But it is more than just a hospital. It is an investment in our services. It is an investment in the dedicated people who provide those services. But most importantly of all, Cathaoirleach, it is an investment for the women of this country themselves, an investment, I might add, that is long overdue. We all want to see modern, safe, compassionate services delivered with dignity and respect to those who use them. To ensure that we can deliver on that aim, the government has provided a significant increase in funding for women's healthcare in 2021, reflecting our commitment to improve services in this area. The €12 million that has been allocated to the National Maternity Strategy and to gynaecology services this year, and the additional €5 million provided to the Women's Health Task Force, will ensure that there is a renewed focus on delivering the best possible care for women and babies across the country. I can reassure the deputies that delivered improved outcomes for women will remain our core aim. The National Maternity Hospital's move as planned to the Ellen Park campus is a key part of achieving that aim. The development of modern hospitals, co-located with adult teaching hospitals, will ensure we can provide the best possible healthcare to women and babies, delivered by the right person, at the right time, and in the right place. The new hospital is therefore a vital piece of infrastructure, one that will help underpin the development of maternity services and the implementation of the National Maternity Strategy into the future. We know that concerns have been raised regarding the ownership and clinical independence of the new National Maternity Hospital. These concerns are not surprising, given the checkered history of women's experience of care in this country in the past. However, as Minister Donnelly has outlined, a very considerable amount of work has been done to address these issues and to ensure that the new hospital will remain in state ownership to serve women and families for years to come. Several deputies who proposed the motion have stated that the government is gifting the hospital to the sisters. This is inaccurate, it is untrue, and it is misleading. The corporate and clinical governance arrangements for the new maternity hospital are set out in the Mulvey Agreement, which was agreed between the National Maternity Hospital and St Vincent's in 2016. A key element of that agreement and a core objective in the subsequent negotiations around the legal framework was the need for the new National Maternity Hospital to have clinical and operational, as well as financial and budgetary independence. This means that the full range of health services available at the new hospital will be provided without religious, ethnic or other distinction. As the Minister for Health stated earlier, the other core objective on this project was and remains that the state's significant investment in the new hospital must be appropriately protected. In this regard, as part of initial negotiations in 2017, the then Minister for Health sought the outright transfer of the site for the new hospital. Following extensive engagement between the HSE, the National Maternity Hospital, St Vincent's Healthcare Group and the department, the current position is that St Vincent's Healthcare Group has agreed to lease the site to the state for a period of 99 years. there is the potential to extend the lease for a further 50 years. And once again, I would like to reiterate, lest there be any confusion, the government nor the minister will not be gifting the National Maternity Hospital to anyone. And I think language is extremely important here. The finalisation of the draft legal framework and associated arrangements is still ongoing, with a view to ensuring that the safeguarding of women's healthcare services and the state's investment is affirmed beyond doubt for the public and for women in Ireland. In terms of the governance of the new hospital, as set out in the Mulvey Agreement, a new company, the National Maternity Hospital at Ellen Park Designated Activity Company, will be established, which will operate the hospital under licence from the state. The Minister has received assurances that the positions on the board will be filled based solely on competency. Furthermore, in addition to the 4 directors nominated by the National Maternity Hospital and St Vincent's Healthcare Group respectively, the Minister will also nominate a public interest representative to the board. The Religious Sisters of Charity will not have any role in the governance, the operation of the new National Maternity Hospital. Minister Donnelly has been absolutely clear about this previously and clarified the situation once again today. The sisters have resigned from St Vincent's Healthcare Group Board and will be transferring their shareholding to St Vincent's Holding CLG. It is also clear that the constitution of St Vincent's Holding CLG makes no reference to canon law, and that canon law will have no impact in terms of the provision of care at the new hospital. I would like to conclude by reiterating to the House that this government remains fully committed to its focus on the development of maternity and women's health services in this country. We are investing more in these services to ensure developments are achieved, improvements are made, and outcomes for people using the services are enhanced. The relocation of the National Maternity Hospital is a significant part of that development. And I would just like to reiterate what Minister Donnelly said. He will not countenance developing any new maternity hospital where there is any risk that religious or other influence would put women's reproductive health care at risk or endanger their safety. This is an absolute commitment from Minister Donnelly on the floor of this House. He can assure deputies that the clear legal advice provided to the state is that the ownership, the clinical governance and the corporate governance structures ensure that all legally permissible medical services will be provided in the new hospital. And Cathaoirleach, I just want to respond to an accusation that was made here earlier. And in case there is any concern that was raised by Deputy O'Reilly, the Fianna Fáil party fully support the National Maternity Hospital to be built on public land in state ownership. And Minister Donnelly has the full support of the Fianna Fáil party on this. However, I do believe language is important, and I do believe any attempt to demonise the Catholic faith for political gain is unnecessary and disappointing. But unfortunately, we have seen this happen more and more recently. The Minister and the Government remain committed to progressing this critical project and to provide the highest quality infrastructure and environment with all of the necessary assurances to enable the delivery of modern, safe, quality health services for women and babies for many years to come.